Hey friends, it's Aubrey. As you can see, I am in a different kitchen. We have our own apartment now. We just moved. And so in today's video, you will be seeing all of the freezer prep and fridge prep that I'm going to do to make meals and snacks a little bit easier for us, as we don't have really anything in the fridge, freezer, and pantry right now. And so if that interests you, keep watching. First thing I am prepping is celery. No one in our family really likes to snack on celery other than our dog Madsen, which you'll see him here begging for some celery. Anyways, what I like to do to prevent wasting the celery when we need it for a recipe is I will just buy a bag, cut it up, and portion it out into baggies for the recipes that we make most often, most of which are soups. And this saves me a lot of time and it saves me money, and I'm not wasting any food by having the celery prepped and ready to go in the freezer. And because I am throwing the celery into soups, you don't have to worry about the texture being weird because it will get soft as it cooks in the soup as well. So if you aren't prepping your celery or didn't know that you could freeze it, now you know. When I went to Winco the other day, the strawberries were $2 a pound, which for out here is a really good price. And so I picked up 3 pounds of strawberries. We had already started snacking on one, so I have about 2.5 pounds left here. And what I'll be doing with the strawberries is cutting them all up into quarters, and then from there I'm going to be making some freezer jam and then also really tasty, easy dessert. And so that is what I am prepping all of the strawberries for. For the freezer jam, you'll need about 2 pounds of the diced strawberries and put them into your Instant Pot. And then you'll add a cup of sugar and 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. You'll stir this together and let it sit for about 10 minutes so that the juices from the strawberries will start to release. Once the strawberries have sat out for about 10 minutes, you'll go ahead and turn the Instant Pot on to manual or pressure cook for 1 minute. When you open it up, it will not look like jam yet. That's totally fine. We're gonna add 3 tablespoons of water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch that was mixed into a slurry into the Instant Pot, and we will start stirring it up as we have it on the saute function until it starts to thicken a little bit. Once it has thickened a little ways, you'll go ahead and turn off the Instant Pot, let it cool for a little bit, and then you'll start putting it into freezer-safe containers. Portioned mine out into what we could eat in about a week's period of time, and these last in the freezer for 6 months. And so you love jam and find berries at a good price, this is a great thing to do with them. This is the easy strawberry dessert, and what it is, it's about a 1/2 pound of chopped strawberries and then 2 tablespoons of sour cream and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Stir that together, and then once it starts to liquefy a little more, you will dump it over the strawberries and mix that all together. Let the strawberries sit in the sauce for a few minutes, otherwise it'll be a little bit grainy. but once it has sat for a little while, it is a super, super tasty treat. You could put it over some pound cake, you could eat it as is, you could put it with some whipped cream. Really, anything that you want tasty strawberries on, this is a great use for them. The next thing I prepped was the chicken thighs that I bought. I like to trim off some of the fat, not all of it, but some of the fat before I put the chicken into the freezer. That way when I'm making a dinner or a lunch, I don't have to worry about trimming that fat later, and I can just throw it right into the crock pot, into the oven, into the Instant Pot, whatever I need for those recipes. And so I like to go ahead and trim the fat and then portion off the amount of chicken that I will need for the recipes that we make most often and put those into freezer bags. And then I'll place the portions that are in bags inside of a bigger bag just to make sure that in case anything happens, no chicken juices will be getting all over the freezer. And that way it also prevents the freezer burn. Now we're going to make the best black beans ever. I will have the recipe linked down below. What you'll need is some chicken broth. I'm using the broth base, some salt, olive oil, black beans. I'm actually going to double this recipe, so I'm going to use 2 pounds of black beans instead of 1. And then you'll need an onion or 2. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to do 1. Some garlic, oregano, cumin, and bay leaves. And then we're gonna put it in the Instant Pot, and I will show you that whole process. I'm chopping up the onion here. I'll be putting it into my mini Ninja food processor. I'll have that linked down in the description box. It's one of my most handy kitchen tools. I use it almost every day. Makes my life so much easier, and it's easy cleanup, works well, and highly recommend that product to you guys. I'm gonna chop up the onion just into a little bit of smaller chunks so that they can fit more easily into that mini food processor, and then we will puree that into fine little diced chunks of onions. That way, when you have the beans cooking, you won't have to worry about giant onion chunks in your beans. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the Instant Pot and my large onion. I am doubling this recipe, and so if you're going to be doing just the regular recipe, you'd only do 1 tablespoon of olive oil and a smaller onion. And I'm letting that heat up on the saute function and letting the onions cook in the olive oil, and then I'll start adding my spices. I am adding 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of oregano, and letting that cook and kind of mix in with the onions for a little bit. I'm now adding in about 16 cloves of garlic. Now that seems excessive, but trust me, it's super delicious. Add all the garlic that your heart desires. I'm adding in 12 cups of water, and then I'll add in 12 teaspoons of the chicken broth base powder. Then I'm adding in the 2 pounds of black beans and about 6 bay leaves and a teaspoon of salt. If you are doubling this in a 6-quart Instant Pot, it does get right up to that max fill line, so definitely don't try and triple it in a 6-quart Instant Pot. You'll put on the Instant Pot lid and put it on the manual or pressure cook function, and you will turn it all the way up to 50 minutes and make sure that it is set to sealing. When the 50 minutes have passed, you'll let it naturally release for about 20 minutes, and then you can go ahead and open up your Instant Pot. You can stir around all those beautiful black beans and then put them into freezer safe containers, so that way you can portion it out and pull them out as needed for the future. You definitely won't have to be making black beans anytime soon. Now I'm going to prep my ground beef. I like to have cooked ground beef ready to go in the freezer. It makes meals come together so much quicker. And so I'm going to be doing a pot of regular ground beef that's seasoned and then a taco seasoned ground beef. If you don't already have one of these meat masher tools, I highly recommend getting one. It makes cooking any ground meat so much easier. I'll link this one or one that's really similar to it down in the description box for you. Definitely recommend getting yourself one of these kitchen tools, especially if you use a lot of ground meat. The basic seasonings I'm adding onto the ground beef are onion powder, garlic powder, Lowry's, Worcestershire sauce, salt, and pepper, and making sure to get all the seasoning all around the ground beef. Now that the ground beef is fully cooked, I am just following the package instructions for this taco seasoning mix, adding 3/4 cup of water and then the mix to it and stirring it around to make sure you get that taco seasoning all over the ground beef. I like to portion out my ground beef as well, just like the chicken, so that way it's really easy to make dinners. I just pull out a pre-portioned bag of ground beef, whether it's the regular or taco seasoned meat, and that way we can make dinners or lunches super fast. I like to make sure that my meat is double bagged. That way it prevents any freezer burn from happening. That is all I have for you today. If you did enjoy, please subscribe to my channel. I make weekly videos every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I also would love to hear what type of freezer prep that you do that make meals and snacks a lot easier for your family. So definitely leave those in the comments box down below. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.